you have to write certain notes regarding the bangle sellers. You can write it in points, right? On page 15, there is blank space present. There you can write like the symbolism I'm making you write the key terms, right? So point number 1, maidenhood. Maidenhood. Your second stanza dealt with the first stage of woman's life, that was maidenhood, right? So write maidenhood, put a hyphen. Which colors were taken up first? Blue and silver. Silver and blue and silver, same thing. Blue and silver. Again, a hyphen. Purity. Purity, comma, right? Virginity, comma, beauty. So if you're asked regarding the virginity, right? So these three words you will write for symbolism regarding blue and silver color. The beauty of the mountain mist, right? That has been captured and it has been given silver and blue color, right? You can put a slash and write mountain mist over there also if you want, right? So the view of the or the imagery of the mountain mist has been taken up. It has been represented by the colors silver and blue. Pass on to Shreyansh. Yes. See, because that young girl is not married. Sit down. Huh. All right. It's purity, comma, virginity, comma, beauty. So the imagery of the mountain mist has been captured. It has been represented by silver and blue color, and it symbolizes the purity, innocence, and the beauty of the young girls, right? Then, second point under this heading maidenhood itself is the pink color. The pink color. This pink color has been taken up from the buds, right? So you can put a slash and write buds. And it symbolizes new beginnings. New beginnings. So the second point is pink color. You can put a slash and write bud, then hyphen, new beginnings and promise of life. And promise of life. Right? Then third point within this heading is green color. Green color. You can put a slash and write the newborn leaves, right? And what does it symbolize? It symbolizes freshness of youth. Freshness of youth. So first of all, if you see in the second stanza, first of all, the imagery of the mountain mist was captured, right? It was represented by the colors silver and blue, and it symbolizes the beauty and purity of the young maidens. Then the imagery of the buds that were about to bloom, they were yet dreaming on the surface of the woodland stream, right? They were present, and then this imagery was captured and it is represented by pink color, and this symbolizes the, what is it? The new beginnings and promise of life. Then the third imagery is the newborn leaves, and they have dewdrops fallen on those leaves. So the transparency, the delicacy of the dewdrops, and that too on the very delicate, tender newborn leaves, it represents youth, right? So that imagery represents green color, which symbolizes the freshness of youth. So now you know that these three imagery have been used to symbolize the stage of maidenhood, And what colors have been chosen? Silver and blue, pink, and then green, right? You're going to regard these things to maidenhood. Whenever this stanza is asked as an extract, you're going to talk about these things. Then write as a second point, the bride. That is the second stage. So the first color that is chosen is yellow, and you can put a slash and write the cornfields, right? So cornfields, you have it in the third stanza, you can see. So the yellow color and these cornfields, this imagery of the cornfields that have been lit up by the sunlight is taken, and it is indicating yellow color, and it symbolizes the high hopes and fertility, right? This cornfield is a proof of the fertility of Mother Nature, and it refers to the fertility of this bride that is getting married. There are high hopes for her future, that in future she is also going to bear children, right? So you can write high hopes and fertility. Right. Right. So the imagery of the sunlit cornfield symbolize the high hopes that she has for her future and her fertility. Then the other image that has been taken up is the flame of her marriage fire, right? So you can write golden yellow, golden yellow. So this golden yellow color and the ceremonial fire, that is the fire lit in the middle during the ceremony, the golden yellow color and the ceremonial fire represents the fire of passion. Put a hyphen and write fire of passion. The fire of passion that is burning in the heart of the bride. All have checked this registration work complete? Okay. Then the third imagery is the color of her heart's desire. Hue means color. It's given the hue of her heart's desire. So that is the color of her heart. That is red. So the third color is red, that symbolizes the love for her husband. It symbolizes the love for her husband. So again, 3 images, 3 colors, and each stands for something. First is the yellow color or the cornfields that symbolize the high hopes of future and fertility, that she is also going to bear children just the way Mother Nature is bearing crops, right? And then the second is the color of the ceremonial fire, right? The color of the bangles is being compared to the color of the ceremonial fire, and it indicates the fire of passion that is burning in her heart, the excitement that she has on getting married. And then the color of her heart, that is red color, symbolizes the love she has for her new husband that she is getting. All right. Then come to the third stage, that is an elderly woman. Elderly woman. So the first color that has been mentioned is purple, right? Write over there purple, put a hyphen and write royalty and pride. Royalty and pride. Royalty, R-O-Y-A-L-T-Y. Royalty means she is now gained power. She's at the supreme position now in the family, right? So royalty and pride. Put a hyphen and write indicates power and authority. Indicates power and authority. Indicates power and authority. So the purple color is indicating that now she has reached the supreme position because she's lived all her life. She's passed her life through the midway. Now she has entered the stage where she has done all her duties. Now all she has to do is see to it that the relations are maintained within a family, and she's to sit by her husband's side and worship God, right? So now she has attained a supreme position. This is indicating that she has achieved power and authority now, right? She has pride, she has royalty in her cells, right? Then the other color is gold flecked gray. Gold flecked gray. This is a sober color. This is a sober color. It indicates maturity, maturity and wisdom. Maturity and wisdom. Again, put a hyphen. Gained with age and experience. Gained with age and experience. All right. So now this color is indicating the maturity that she has, gray color especially, and the gold color is representing the wisdom that she has acquired through her life as she went through different situations and circumstances. She kept gaining knowledge and becoming wiser, and now she has attained maturity and wisdom, which is represented by this gold flecked gray color of the bangles, right? So every time we are comparing the color of the bangles to the various emotions and feelings and the various stages of a woman's life, right? Now, any problem? Missed out something? No? Okay, fine. Right, in the second stanza, third line, there's the word dream given. Circle that. Then in the third stanza, fourth line, desire is there. Circle that. Then in the last stanza, that is on page 15, first line, faithful. Circle that. And write the words dream, desire, and faithful. The words dream, desire, and faithful summarize the role of a woman, at various stages of life. A woman at various stages of life. So that is all. These points are going to help you write your answers, right? Now coming to the style, that is form and structure. I told you in the beginning itself that it is a lyrical poem, right? It's meant to be sung, right? It carries a praise of the. Why have you started talking amongst yourselves? Huh? It glorifies the ideal Indian woman. It portrays the typical Indian woman that is supposed to be an ideal, right? Who fulfills all her responsibilities, plays the role of a good wife, a good mother, right? That has been portrayed, and the background setup is of the folk life of India, right? So that is the that will come in the fall, right? It's in the form of 4 stanzas of 6 lines, right? The poem is divided in 4 stanzas. Each stanza contains 6 lines. If you talk about the rhyming scheme, it is double A, double B, double C. You can see in the poem, you check the first stanza, there is bare, fair, then bright, light, lives, wives. So A, B, B, C, C. Again, second stanza, wrist, mist, dream, stream, cleaves, leaves, right? So again, A, B, B, C, C. This is the rhyming scheme that is followed throughout the poem. Then, talking about the figures of speech, a lot of figures of speech are used, especially simile has been used throughout. Like you have in the third stanza, some are like fields of sunlit corn, some like the flame of marriage fire, right? So these are direct comparisons, right? Silver and blue as the mountain mist in the second stanza. So when the words as and like are used for comparison, it's a simile, right? Now, when you will mention that figure of speech, simile has been used, you will not just merely mention simile and leave. You will have to say that the color of the bangles is compared to the mountain mist. The color of the bangles is compared to the color of the heart of the bride, symbolizing the love for her husband. Like this, you will write. You will not just write simile and you will not leave like that. Okay. Then again, this in the third stanza itself, tinkling, luminous, tender, and clear, like her bridal laughter and tear. Again, a simile. Keep underlining. Don't miss out these points, because if it is asked, like, give examples of similes used in the poem, you can mention any. But if that particular extract is given, that particular line is given, and asked that which figure of speech is it, you should know it particularly. So keep. Where is your book? So you're not writing. Tick mark all the examples of simile. Then some are, I told you, some are like fields of sunlit corn, right? All these are examples of simile. Then metaphor. Metaphor is rainbow tinted circles of light, because directly the bangles have been called rainbow tinted circle of light, right? The bangles are called by that name. So the colors of the bangles are being compared to a rainbow. The multicolored bangles, they are being compared to a rainbow, right? So it's a metaphor because they have directly named it and there is not clear comparison. Therefore, it's a metaphor. Tick mark there, write M. Then again, the next line, lustrous token of radiant lives. So again, a metaphor, token of radiant lives. The bangles. Now this time, not the color of the bangles, but the bangle itself is being called token of radiant lives of the happy wives and happy daughters. Right? Again, there is metaphor. Right? Then alliteration, I had told you there is in the third stanza, a bride on her bridal morn, then hue of her heart's desire, right? Bridal laughter and bridal tear, all these will be example of alliteration, right? Imagery, a lot of imagery has been used. If you talk about the visual imagery, there is silver and blue as the mountain mist, right? So you can visualize the mountain area covered with mist, looking all beautiful, right? Blue in color, right? Then again, some are flushed like bloods that dream. Again, imagery, right? A glow with the bloom that cleaves. Again, imagery, right? Limpid glory of the newborn leaves. Yes, buds are dreaming. Yes, the buds are being personified as if they are dreaming, right? Then fields of sunlit corn, again imagery, right? So all these imageries have been used to highlight the symbolism and the emotions of a woman at the various stages of her life. There is one auditory image. What is it? Tinkling. Tinkling. Yes, tinkling and bridal laughter. That is being, the two things are being compared. So that is one auditory image. So that is all. Then Sarojini Naidu loved the common folk of India and their land. She celebrates their occupations, their joys and sorrows in a number of lyrics. The pageantry of Indian life fascinated her and she sings of it with zest. So the folk life, the village life of India and all, it fascinated Sarojini Naidu very, deeply, and she kept writing poems and songs about these, right? Her lyrics are in fact a portrait gallery of Indian folk characters. So mostly Indian folk characters are present in her lyrics. The poem The Bangle Sellers is an expression of different stages in a woman's life in traditional Indian society, right? So in a traditional Indian society, the importance of bangles has been the different stages have been portrayed by means of the bangles. She's talking about bangles, but then each of the bangle is symbolic of certain stage of a woman's life. So indirectly, she's not directly she's talking about the bangles, but indirectly she's indicating and talking about the different stages of an Indian woman, right? The entire concept of making a connection between different colored bangles and their roles in imparting happiness to the young maidens, brides, wives, and mothers is rooted in Indian culture, right? So there is importance regarding these things, and obviously, the color of the bangles have been chosen according to it. When the color were chosen for the maiden, very fresh colors were used, right? Pink, silver, blue, right? When for the bride, it was chosen, very bright colors were chosen, golden yellow, red, right? And when it was chosen for the elderly woman, very sober colors, gold flecked gray, right? And then purple. These colors are sober colors. So according to the age and the stages of life on which a woman is present, the responsibilities, the emotions, the feelings that have been brought out very well according to the color that is chosen, right? Fresh colors for the maidens, bright colors for the bride, and sober colors for the elders, right? The bangles they wear have symbolic and religious importance, and the different colors represent the various stages in their life. The statement I had made you write, I hope you've written, that the bangles they carry spiritual and spiritual and symbolic importance. If you've not written, write it down. The bangles carry spiritual and symbolic importance. The poem not only portrays the life of traditional Indian woman, it also portrays the life of bangle sellers, because it is the bangle seller only who brought the load to the temple fair. In the first line itself, he says that it is we who carry, who bear the load and bring it to the temple fair, right? The bangle seller uses a joyful voice and presents his wear as tokens of happiness. He is the one who calls these bangles as token of happiness. Then the heaviness of the bangles, that is the shining loads, is only reference made to the hardship of the bangle sellers. They've brought it with like great care and hardship because it's heavy and it's delicate. So they have to bring it with great care to the temple fair, right? Thus presenting the folk life of India is one of the striking features of Naidu's poetry. In fact, her poetry gained vitality through the folk inspiration. So this is just about the importance and the character of Naidu's poetry, right? That is all. We are done with the poem.